Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Gatesy. This is Falls from Iron. This is Transfer Talk. Before we get into that, if you could do us a big favour, drop a like on the video. It helps the channel out tremendously. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure you hit that bell icon so that as and when new content such as this is uploaded to the channel, you are first to know about it. So we'll get into it. Now, a couple of little things have broken over the last few hours. Now, Nikola Milenkovic, his name's been linked with the club quite heavily, and it seemed that there was some progress that was being made, and there was a lot of talk that maybe even it was potentially possible that there would be an announcement around the time of the Betway Cup that the deal was done and all the rest of it. Unfortunately, over the course, as I recalled this on Sunday late morning, it appears that the Milenkovic transfer has stalled quite badly. It would seem that there's rumours of agents getting involved and demanding a slice of the pie and this, that and the other. I've also heard one version of events that says that Fiorentina are looking for £14 million before they'll say, OK, fine, deal done. And that Sullivan, this is my information, has offered 11.8 million, which obviously hasn't gone down a storm with the people at Fiorentina. So it's looking that Milenkovic may be a little bit of a tricky one. Just looking here that the alternative targets, if Milenkovic does fall through completely, Duše Čeletajar of Marseille and the Croatia centre-back, the first game that England played in the Euros, he, from my vantage point anyway, you can let me know what you think. You've got the comment section below. But I think he looked quite impressive. In fact, Harry Kane was pretty ineffective against him. James Tarkowski's been mentioned again. Interesting. For me, I think that there were lots of noises last season about he and his wife were not too keen on London life because obviously he had a previous spell at Brentford and he didn't exactly like London life too much, and I think his wife couldn't stand it. So I'm not too sure that would be an option. Phil Jones is another one that's mentioned. Obviously, he's a freebie, so wouldn't be my choice. But again, the comment sections below, please give us your thoughts on it. Gary Cahill's another name that's popped up. I'm like, once upon a time he was a cracking player, but he's 35 years of age now. Time waits for no man. But Milenkovic is looking like that's possibly hit the buffers a little bit. It may still be revived. In fact, by the time this stream goes out, who knows? This could get very old very quickly, and it may well be that the deal's already been done. But as I recalled this Sunday late morning, the reports are that the deal for Milenkovic has hit something of a snag involving third-party agents and things of that nature. Now, another name that's popped up. Now, this is an interesting one because this is a guy that has been linked quite heavily with Tottenham Hotspur. Now, all of a sudden, it seems that he's now being linked with both Arsenal and ourselves. Now, this young man is his name, and I apologize if I mangle his spelling for anyone, or his pronunciation. For anyone out there that's Japanese watching this, if I get it completely wrong, apologies. I do not mean to offend you. His name is Takehiro Tomiyasu. He's a centre-back. He's currently on the books at Bologna. He is 22 years of age. He is, as I say, he's a centre-back, but he can also be deployed as a fullback. Now, looking here, it says here he was a very consistent performer for Bologna last season. He averages 1.5 tackles per match, 1.7 interceptions, 3.3 clearances, 0.5 shots and 0.5 dribbles per game in Serie A. He's also distributed the ball relatively well from the back based upon his pass success rate of, and this is actually pretty decent for a centre-back, 82.1%. As I say, he's been heavily linked with Tottenham. And I've got to say, I don't know much about this guy. I've not really seen an awful lot of him. Last I saw, He was with the Japanese Olympic squad in Japan, and for the Olympics, obviously, they got to the bronze medal match, but I think they lost in the bronze medal match to Mexico. But so he's at this minute, he's obviously returning from international duty with the Olympic team for Japan. So he's on the radar. He's been mentioned, but I would imagine that Tottenham are probably ahead of us in the queue. So it seems, but and Arsenal are involved as well. But again, I mean, some of you guys may have seen him play in Serie A for Bologna. As I say, his stats, he seems to be quite highly rated, and all the rest of it. But you know, there may be some of you out there that have got a little bit of a breadth of knowledge and sort of like can bring an opinion. As I say, the comment sections below, you know, if you want to get involved, please do. Another name that has been mentioned, and this is a player that I got to be honest, until this particular thing came up, I've never ever even heard of. However, his name has been mentioned, and this was from an article on Knees Up Mother Brown that came out yesterday, Saturday the 7th of August. Now, and it's another defender. Now, we'll get into that at the end of the stream as to whether I think that's the priority or not. This is a left back. He's an Ecuadorian international, and his name is Pervis. And again, if I mangle the pronunciation, apologies to all Ecuadorians. But his name is Pervis Estupiñan, whatever. Apparently, Napoli are in for him as well. He's currently on the books at Villarreal in La Liga. Now, he is, or he was, on the books of Watford whilst they were in the Premier League. He actually went there in 2016, never played a game for him, because the moment he signed the contract, he was loaned back out. He was loaned out to Granada in La Liga. He's also had spells again on loan from Watford at Almeria, Mallorca and Osasuna. He was at Watford for basically 4 seasons and then was moved on, and he's now at Villarreal. He played 33 times in the Liga last season, and now it seems that Napoli are in for him, and it looks like we also may be interested, according to this report in Knees Up Mother Brown. He looks like he was destined to join Napoli on a season-long loan worth around 2 million euros, it says here. Now, it doesn't go into specifics of whether we're looking at getting him in also on a season-long loan or whether this is a permanent signing. You know, left back, yes, I suppose we probably do need a left back, but again, is that the priority? You know, we're trying quite hard for a centre back, it seems. Obviously, Milenkovic, Tomiyasu, and Phil Jones, his name's been mentioned, etc., etc. So it looks like, if you believe all the rumours, you know, we're going for a centre back quite heavily. And now it seems a left back in this Estupiñan. Like I say, this is according to Knees Up Mother Brown. This is the first and so far the only report that I've seen that's mentioned this guy. But it just sort of, you know, I thought, okay, yep, I'll put this one on this transfer talk. Again, there may be some of you out there that are quite familiar with watching La Liga football that have seen him play for Villarreal. As I say, he played 33 times in La Liga, so he's had a good amount of experience. He's picked regularly, so he must be operating at a fairly decent level to play 33 La Liga games. So there may be some of you out there that can give us a steer on whether this guy is actually going to be decent competition for Aaron Cresswell, decent cover for Aaron Cresswell. Is he an upgrade on Arthur Masuaku? I'd hope he at least is. Actually, to be honest, any player that comes in, I hope that they're an upgrade on the current incumbent. So I'd actually hope that he's actually an upgrade on Cresswell, let alone Masuaku. Another player that's been mentioned, and again, this is the left back. Now, this one's been mentioned a few times during this transfer window. His name is Josh Doig, and he is the left back for Hibernian in the SPFL. Now, he was omitted from Hibs' squad in the opening weekend of the Scottish Premiership against Motherwell. There's been a lot of talk that we're believed to have been interested. But it says here, now this is typical Sullivan, so I think this has got a grain of truth in it, and this is from the website Not the Old Firm. And it says here, West Ham are believed to have asked for Doig's price to be cut. I mean, that screams of David Sullivan, doesn't it? That absolutely screams of him. But as I say, his name's been mentioned a few times on and off during this transfer window. He's, I believe, 22 years of age, somewhere around that. A lot of people that I've spoken to that know more about the Scottish Premiership than I have said that he's a promising young talent. Could he do it at the Premier League? Well, that remains to be seen. You don't know until he's put in the mix. You know, there have been many players that have come from Scotland, some of whom have flourished, like, you know, Kieran Tierney being a prime example, you know, same position as him essentially. Andy Robertson as well, when he went to Hull before he obviously got the move to Liverpool. But yeah, Tierney, Robertson, there have been many Scottish players that have come from the Premiership that have hit the ground running. Similarly, I can also remember a few that have come down with a big reputation. I'm going back a little bit here, and some people might not remember this name, but there was a guy that was banging in goals for, I think it was Dundee United, and he went to Blackburn. His name was, and don't laugh at the surname, David Goodwillie. That was his name. I'm not making it up. David Goodwillie. He bombed, and there have been various other signings that have been, you know, various players that have come from Scotland, Scottish players that have maybe not done so well as Tierney and Robertson. But this guy, as I say, a lot of people that watch Scottish Premiership football say that he's got potential. But here's the thing. All of these players that I've mentioned so far, Milenkovic, Tomiyasu, Pervis Estupiñan, Josh Doig, centre-backs, left-backs, defensive players. Now, for me, I'm a little bit confused as to why we're prioritising on a centre-back. And again, the comment section's below, so if there's any of you guys out there that are like, no, I don't agree with that, Gatesy, fine, not a problem. It's all about opinions. That's what we're here for. Do us a favour, drop it in the comment section below, get involved, get a conversation going. That's what we're here for. We need a striker. That's surely our position of the greatest priority right now. Okay, let's look at it. Centre-back, who can play there? Ogbonna, Dawson, Diop, Frederick Alves. If you play a back three, Cresswell can drop in there. Sofal dropped in there as a third centre-back when we played there in the Cup at Old Trafford. He dropped in when Ogbonna got injured, and then Diop got injured. He dropped in as a centre-back and did quite well. So he could play there. Declan Rice can play there. I believe Thomas Soucek could drop in as a centre-back. You've got Jamal Baptiste in the youth team. There's a lot of good things said about him. He could possibly even play there in a pinch. Okay, let's move to striker now. Okay, Antonio. We all know there's going to be a point during the course of this season where his hamstrings are going to give out and he's going to have a 4 to 6 week period out. We know it's going to happen. Okay, who can play as a number 9 if and when that happens? Okay, Bowen could play there. Fine. I think probably Ben Rama could play there, maybe as a false 9. I think Lanzini could have played there before he got the injury. I think he could have operated as a false 9, not now. I think his position now is a CDM behind Rice and Soucek in the pecking order. Who else could play there? You're going to put Mipo or Debeko there? Again, this is a guy that has an awful lot of potential, an awful lot of promise, but he's not ready for the Premier League, in my opinion. From what I've seen, the game at Old Trafford, I've also seen him play for the 23s. He's not ready for that. I don't think he's ready for that step up. Who else? Who else have we got? No one. So you can see right there, we have an awful lot of people that could potentially play as a centre-back. or that are centre-backs by trade. And then when we come to striker, we got a problem. We got a massive problem. Now, there's been so many names that have been linked, you know, Tammy Abraham, Patson Daka, Adam Armstrong, Abdallah Sima, Paul Onuachu, on and on and on. And the days are getting closer. I mean, as I record, it's the 9th of August. Transfer window shuts end of this month. We need to get a striker over the line. By hook or by crook, that's the position. So all these stories that I've told you about are all defensive players. I think we're pretty well stocked for defenders. And in my opinion, I think we need to be getting a striker. Again, comment sections below if you disagree with that statement or if you agree with it. Give me your reasons why. Either way, not a problem. But that's just some of the stories that are coming out in the last few hours. Milenkovic seems to have stalled. Agents getting involved. Tomiyasu's name has popped up in as a possible alternative plan if Milenkovic doesn't come to pass, although Tottenham and Arsenal are in for him as well. You've got Pervis Estupiñan, if I've got his name right, from Villarreal. As I say, this was one on Knees Up Mother Brown. I haven't seen this anywhere else, so who knows. And Josh Doig, as I say, he's been mentioned several times, but they're 4 stories, all revolving defensive players. In my opinion, I think we need a striker as an absolute priority. Tell me your thoughts. Get involved. Comment sections below. As usual, guys, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and make sure you hit that bell icon to be notified of any new content as and when it is uploaded to the channel. Thank you very much indeed for your attention for the last 17 and a bit minutes. I'm going to leave you now. Stay safe. Have a good what's left of this weekend. Look after yourselves and the family. Only one thing left to say. Come on, you Irons.